Greetings, everyone. Welcome back. Second edition here of the 2X Man philosophy and journey. So I wanted to talk about some concretes in my life that could maybe help you determine what your own paths would be, your own 2X journeys would be. So if I today, or when I started this journey, when I sit down and I think to myself, you know, if I were twice the person I am today, twice the man, 2x of what I am today, what would my life look like? Or what would a typical day look like if I were already in that position? And then I think about, you know, what I can do to achieve that. So the first thing that comes to mind is if I were today twice the person that I am, I'd probably be healthier, have more energy, be more active, eat better foods, just overall in a better physical state of being. So what can I do there? So obviously I can just change those things. I can be that person that I would be if I were twice the person I am. I can do intermittent fasting. I can add a lot more vegetables and fruits to my diet. I can go to the gym every day. And then I think also I'd have a lot more mental focus, a lot of mental clarity. My mind would always be present, and I'd be generating a lot of ideas and a lot of energy. And I think that comes from the diet. I think it comes from sleeping well. So if I'm twice the person, then I'm not scrolling through my phone at night. I'm putting the phone down. I'm going to bed, going to sleep, waking early. I'm also convinced of something. I think if we put in this work to make ourselves better, without even trying, I'm convinced that the world will present us with more, things, opportunities, chances, connections. I think once we look inside to be the people we want to be, then the world will come to us ever more with things that can even further enrich our lives. Besides that, I believe if I were twice the person I am today, I'd be much more financially sound, my family also. And I believe business opportunities would come to me. I'd probably be involved in a business, a scalable business. You know, I do consulting. Consulting is one-to-one. Do the hour, bill the hour. I'm convinced that if I were that 2X person, opportunities would come to me in scalable businesses. That someone would say, look, I really like the way you live, think, work, act, whatever. Would you consider being involved in this business with me? So that's another byproduct that I strongly believe will come to me as a result of the 2X journey. So put in the work inside, and I believe that will manifest some opportunities like that. I believe that I would be in the position to convert more of the ideas I have into reality. I've had so many situations in which I've thought about something, talked about it, and not done it. I believe that if I were twice the person I am, some of those ideas I would have converted into reality. So I want to be in that position to do that. Get a good idea, see it through, realize it. And that's going to be part of this next 2X journey for me as well. Lastly, what I want to have is more organization in my life. I have loose ends everywhere. Now, what I think is nice about this philosophy are all the things I'm talking about are inward looking. I have the control over these things. I don't need anybody to tell me I'm right. I don't need to reach the finish line in a certain time. I don't have to be better than anybody. I don't have to get anybody's approval for any of these things. These are all things that are inside of me. And there's a lot of comfort in that, because these are all things that I can control every day. And that means the changes that I want to see in me are only reliant on me. And that's phase one. And even though phase two is not that important, the key is to do the internal changes. I think it's going to be interesting to see, in my cases and in yours, when these internal changes are done, what sort of external consequences will follow from them. So I think it's going to be an interesting journey. One last precision I want to make. Yesterday I was talking about how once we're 55 or 54, 48 or whatever, we're sort of who we are. And the concept of making radical changes and becoming completely other people is a bit impractical or very unlikely. Keep in mind that I'm talking to let's say, my audience, the people in my age group, who I'm trying to help, and I hope that they help me to structure this next phase of life. If you're 18, if you're 20, if you're 25, I wouldn't put as many limitations on myself as I do at my current age. So, what does that mean? It means that if I say, massive change is not going to happen, that's how it applies to me. For somebody who's young and has his whole life ahead of him or her, that probably isn't the case. So that's why I qualify this by saying I'm talking to my audience. Now, there's another caveat to it. What I'm saying, I think, is applicable to any age. And if you're 18, if you're 20, and you're not really sure, where you want to go or what the next steps are, where you want to get to in this world, maybe the idea is to look inward and say, let me work on these things on me. Let me 2x myself. Because, you could 2x, then 2x, then 2x. My philosophy is more structured, perhaps. Maybe not more structured, but more realistic and more manageable. It's probably more manageable. So, like I say, I'm talking to my group, my age group, my people, but I think the advice can be applied to anyone, and I'm glad to hear comments on that.